Good afternoon, everyone. This is Takeshi Ueda, Natural Resource and Agriculture Principal Natural Resource and Agriculture Economist, ADB staff. And today, we have been discussing all about future, digitalization, innovations. And this session is actually organized pretty much by, Monica. Sitting here. You saw her in the morning. And I'm very grateful to have dedicated session this time. Now, in the afternoon, we are getting into country focus and region focus. So we have presentations from different regions and great examples that we hope to share with you. ADB recognizes for digital technology to have a substantive development and impact in the region, more investment is needed in policy and also infrastructure, capacity, and skills. The idea behind these two sessions, this session and the following session, in the afternoon are following. To showcase ADB expertise in digitalization and agriculture, by presenting the successful existing applications. This includes all agriculture natural resource aspects, agriculture, forestry, and livestock as well. Yeah, countries are requesting ADB to invest in all these aspects. So we are committed to working with all the developing member countries to do all our best to bring this digitalization to have development impact. And second, given the nature of ADB work, we will mostly present digital applications functioning at a large scale and that are considered sustainable over the long term. We want to present why scaling up applications impacts the agriculture sector in collaboration with the governments of the member countries. Also to showcase partnerships and other external non-ADB stakeholders that are particularly relevant to improving and further scaling up digital applications in collaboration with other international organizations. Finally, I'd like to underline the role of our partnerships with the private sector. We consider private sector shift is one of key shifts for ADB's operational direction. So we definitely hope to enhance more cooperation with the private sector. Just briefly, let me explain or introduce, the speakers this afternoon. First, Dr. Masako Wada. She's research officer at the School of Veterinary Science at the Massey University, New Zealand. And next speaker will be Mr. Shuixian Xiao, Vice President, Alibaba. Jack Ma, CEO Jack Ma. And Mr. Xiao is from Alibaba company. Okay. And then next, Mr. Pet from Lao, Associate Project Officer. I used to be too. Associate Project Officer, and Matthias possibly. Lao PDR Resident Mission in person. Then next speaker will be Matthias, my colleague, Natural Resource and Agriculture Economist. He's going to talk about digital livestock for Tajikistan. Yeah. Next, Mr. Chana Bali, Director General, Department of Water Resources and Irrigation from Nepal. Yeah. Lastly, Wim Batian Sen, CEO and founder of eWatch Netherlands. And he's going to present ADB application in irrigation at present in use in India. Okay. I'm going to invite from, Masako-san, then go one by one. And in the end, all the presentation is done. We're going to give floor to all of you and audience online for questions. But each speaker, please keep your presentation about 10 minutes. And we will watch the time so that we will have sufficient time for question and answers. So, Masako-san, please start your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen first, if that's okay. Yep. Okay, so hello, I am Masako Wada from Massey University, New Zealand. Thanks for having me today. I can't be there in person, but I'm still really excited to talk about our research at Massey with Emily Valley and my other colleagues in the team, projecting livestock health in the face of climate change and the AI-powered database CLIZOD. Climate change is affecting our lives in many different ways, including livestock health. The change can be either way, but here the change is usually for worse. Shifting temperature and rainfall and extreme weather events are and will be contributing to the spread and severity of many livestock diseases. This will then pose significant risks to both animal and human populations, with potential implications for foodborne illnesses, food security, and socioeconomic stability. Look at this photo. This is taken just after a flooding effect, and cattle are exposed to this water, which provides a suitable environment for transmission of many diseases. The histogram on the right shows that the sensitivity of various pathogens to climate drivers. 2/3 of pathogens were found to have associations with one or more climate drivers. The question is, how big an impact? Our research goal is to develop a tool to support livestock producers for preparing and mitigating these climate change impacts by predicting when and where and the scale of these impacts on livestock health. For example, many infectious diseases are transmitted by mosquitoes. There are certain climate conditions where mosquitoes can and cannot survive, and the areas of suitable habitat are expected to change due to climate change. This map here predicts the habitat suitability for Culicoides imicola, informing the risk of mosquito-borne diseases. So it can be very useful, but quite difficult to generate these outputs because of the complexity of the systems. Firstly, health monitoring data are usually quite limited in terms of the quality and quantity. Then when we develop a model linking health and environmental factors, this can be quite complex to account for so many factors intercorrelated with each other. Dependent on the pathogen, we may need to account for various host distributions such as ticks, mosquitoes, wildlife, and so on. We are currently investigating if AI can be used to assist our research with various tasks. AI is a tool programmed to mimic human intelligence. They can process information much faster and more accurately than humans. So if we can use AI to automate various tasks without constant human supervisions, then we might become more efficient and more productive in our research. As shown in this illustration, AI has emerged at the intersection of computer science, data science, and application in various fields. So we are working in collaboration with researchers in various disciplines to tackle this issue. From Tesla to ChatGPT, AI is already starting to transform the way we work, and there are various AI tools each with different strengths in handling data. Today, I will talk about our two case studies exploring the use of AI in addressing epidemiological challenges. The first is predictive modeling to forecast disease outbreaks, and the second is the parameter database using natural language processing to assist literature review. EARS, or Early Aberration Reporting System, is a system for monitoring and early warning of disease outbreaks in human or animal population. The system usually makes use of the existing data and requires minimum resource use. In collaboration with New Zealand Ministry for Primary Industries, EARS has been recently developed to monitor New Zealand livestock health. In the core of the system, there's data from diagnostic labs collected for the past 20 years. So traditionally, EARS is focused on the epidemiological data alone, but currently we are investigating the use of climate data and machine learning models. We're testing whether addition of climate data may improve the robustness of the system in early detection of important diseases, including zoonotic diseases, foodborne diseases, and production diseases. We are training machine learning models for various diseases that we believe are sensitive to climate. One example is for cattle salmonellosis. Salmonella is a bacteria that causes foodborne disease in humans. It also causes calf mortality and severe production losses in dairy farms. So from the laboratory data, we have extracted 4,000 cases of cattle salmonellosis since 2008. This time series plot here shows the temporal pattern of the incidence with some seasonal trends indicating possible links to climate factors. The data was merged with climate data, matching time and locations, and a machine learning model was trained. The chart on the right is the output of the model showing the relative importance of 10 climate variables. The x-axis is the time lags between climate recordings and case recordings, and the y-axis is the relative importance. So it shows that maximum temperature, solar radiation, vapor pressure, and evapotranspiration at various time lags were most influential in salmonellosis cases. We are currently validating these findings, but it's likely that there are multiple environmental conditions that accumulate and impacts on animal health. The model had 80% accuracy in correctly predicting districts with or without a case, which was reasonable enough for us to believe that it's good enough for prediction for the future. So we applied projected future climate data to the model and obtained predicted disease incidence over the next 80 years. The map shows the estimated changes in cattle salmonellosis up to 2040, 60, 80, and to 2100. It's based on the high-end scenario where greenhouse gas emission is assumed to remain high. Districts in gray or blue indicate minimum change in the number of cases, while districts in red indicate the hotspot where the greatest change are expected. Over 80 years, the hotspots spread in the north of North Island, including Auckland and Waikato, regions which are the areas of high human density and major dairy production. The charts on the bottom show the increase in the annual incidence for the greenhouse gas emission scenarios. There are 4 different scenarios. And in these 2 regions, it was shown an increase in trend for higher emission scenarios, and the scale of increase in these areas is quite concerning. So modeling is useful, but it requires a lot of field data to capture the climate-disease relationships. What if we don't have data, for example, for new and emerging diseases? That's when we need to find data in the literature. However, the number of articles covering health and climate change is increasing every day, and it's difficult or almost impossible to keep up to date with all the information. We have recently launched a project to address this issue. CLIZOT, Climate and Zoonotic Disease Database, is an AI-powered database that systematically reviews, extracts, and compiles data from literature regarding climate-sensitive zoonotic diseases. CLIZOT will be shared with whoever seeking for the evidence of links between climate and diseases. And this is a 5-year project funded by Wellcome Trust. We are still at the early stage of the project. We have run a few workshops with modelers to discuss how the database should look like, and the goal is to fully automate the system. But until then, all the tasks need to be done manually, and it takes tremendous amount of time. This is the process of systematic literature review, and we search, screen, extract, and compile data, and here are the potential AI solutions. We are currently working on getting the training data to test and validate AI models. These are the 11 priority diseases we are working on. There are 70,000 articles to screen, and we have just about screening 1,000 articles for 2 diseases. And we are testing some models with the preliminary data, and it's showing a challenge in the approach because there are a lot of things that we do when we manually do, and it's quite hard to mimic that with the AI algorithms. So in conclusion, the evidence suggests climate change poses a threat to animal-based food systems in the context of livestock health. To effectively mitigate these impacts, we need to develop new tools forecasting disease risks to inform resource allocation and prioritization. AI is an ideal approach for solving complex issues dealing with massive data and automating labor-intensive tasks. It's a rapidly evolving field, but there's a lot of preparation to do. So our research may serve as a foundation step towards establishing AI-based systems that can enhance our ability to predict and prepare for the climate change impacts on animal-based food systems. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Masako. It's a great presentation using AI to predict any animal disease outbreak, and definitely that's going to benefit human health as well. I want to invite the second speaker, Mr. Shuixian Xiao, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great honor to be here, and I'm really excited to introduce how Ele.me is working on helping the food supply chain greener and safer. Ele.me was one of the first food delivery companies in China. With the rapid growth of China's digital economy, it has become a huge real-time e-commerce platform with millions of merchants and hundreds of millions of users. People express their simple desire for a better life through talking about meals, like had a meal or hungry. That's just the challenge name of our company, Ele.me. Trustworthy ordering is our mission, so we are thinking about how to use technology to connect the different parts of the food industry and make a positive impact on environment and society. In today's world, where there are economic challenges, geopolitical risks, and extreme weather events happening more often, countries in Asia-Pacific are working hard to create a diverse and sustainable food supply system. As a leading food delivery platform in China, Ele.me is focused on reducing waste and protecting biodiversity as part of our commitment to a green development. First, ordering tips and a smaller portion of meals can effectively help reduce food waste during consumption. Following the requirements of China anti-food waste law, we encourage customers to order only what they need by giving them reminders and tips. We also encourage merchants to provide a smaller portion of meals and offer online training sessions for them. Next, we create a special campaign on our app and lead online traffic to promote the sales of a single set meal and a smaller portion meal. However, the food isn't standardized or individually manufactured products. Thus, merchants need some guidance. Ele.me and the Chinese industry associations have set various standards for smaller portion of meals, norms for saving food through online ordering, and carbon accounting for food waste reduction, etc. Right now, there are about 1 million merchants providing smaller portion of meals on the Ele.me platform. By the end of last year, over 15 million single-set meals were sold, and the sales of smaller portion exceeded 600 million. Second, Ele.me Sunshine Colorful project makes good use of ugly food. Through digital technology and supply chain alliance, we improved the quality of fresh cut fruits. We've also developed an industry standard for fruit cutting operations, which helps take off the code of ugly food. With cold chain distribution and quality assurance, cutting fruit has become popular with consumers. Tens of thousands of merchants have joined the project, seeing an annual order growth of 100%. Third, contribute to biodiversity. Ele.me echoes the calls to protect wild animals and a 10-year fishing ban to protect the Yangtze River by not stealing food meal from protected animals. Since 2021, Ele.me has been working with government agencies, colleges, and the Alibaba Foundation to initiate All Life, the Yangtze River campaign, to protect fish in Yangtze River. In addition, we joined COP15, both in Kunming and Montreal, calling on awareness raising about biodiversity protection. Fourth, communication and custom reward. Jointly with the FAO in China, we have run the Food Zero Waste Challenge campaign several times, and under the Switch Asia project, we've been working with partners like WWF to launch the Food Loss and Waste Reduction Initiative. We are also collaborating with local governments, schools, celebrities, and other organizations to spread awareness in different ways. And as for rewarding consumers, we launched a Little Carbon project, the first user carbon ledger in the takeout industry. It encouraged users to choose no cutlery and a smaller portion of meals, helping them develop low carbon consumption habits. By 2023, over 10,000 tons of carbon have been reduced, thanks to customers' choice on smaller portion of meals. Fifth, we are actively collaborating with partners on study and research. Since 2021, Ele.me has been collaborating with ADB as well as research teams from University of Hong Kong, Peking University, and the University of Tokyo on studying behavior-related no cutlery choice on our platform. Last September, we were glad to see the study was featured in Science from Trash to Choose. And for domestic collaboration, since 2022, Ele.me has partnered with the Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences to set up a joint-level sustainable food system. Together, we have published research reports and created a sustainable food indication system. Our goal is to advocate for both commercial value and social value within the catering industry to promote economic development, ecosystem balance, and innovation. Last but not least, making sure the food we eat is safe is super important for food security. We stick to our long-term values under ESG strategy and working on improving food safety in terms of rules, mechanisms, innovation, and evaluation. And we've made some progress. First, digitalization drives innovation and helps us strengthen customer trust. We use big data from merchant recommendations, customer reviews, nutrition information, etc., to help people feel good about what they are eating and help restaurants do well too. For example, we use big data to set multiple assessment indicators for top stores and meals so customers can find them easily. Second, optimization of management mechanism and capacity building for merchants to support the trustworthy ordering strategy. We continuously and digitally improve our food safety management process and assist platform merchants enhancing their food safety management level through product-sized tools. For example, we have developed a real-time risk perception and a monitoring system, as well as established digital food safety files for merchants. All food safety scores can affect how high the merchant show up in searches and how many market resources merchant can get from us. This can both manage our merchants and motivate them to improve service. Third, enhance the evaluation system with multiple data dimensions and promote the shared governance of food safety. Our efforts include enriching the evaluation system with various dimensions, such as merchants, users, and industry. Take user evaluation as an example. Our recommendation list consolidates user subject field into objective food safety standards, which is based on a huge number of real feedback data from users. Additionally, we have developed online tools to assist industry authorities in establishing a more efficient supervision and evaluation process, as well as a swift law enforcement system. With all the efforts, we want everyone involved producing and delivering food, from farmers to restaurants, to think about sustainability. With only 9% of the world's farmable land and 6% of its fresh water, China feeds almost 1/5 of the world's population. We have gone from not having enough food to having plenty for everyone. And that sets up nicely as a platform for delivering safe and eco-friendly food. We look forward to collaborating with more partners because we think it will be a big help in making sure everyone has enough food and contributing towards global food security. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suishan Xiao. Do you know the meaning of Ele.me? Are you hungry? That's their project or this name. It's really catchy. Are you hungry? Right? And it's a great example of tapping consumption side. We have a lot of presentation tapping on production side, but this is definitely, we can make huge change. Even climate change can be, mitigated through consumption behavior change more than whatever we do on the production side. So it's really making huge impact. Thank you. Next, I want to invite Mr. Pet from Laos.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's great for me to be here. So you're welcome to my presentations. So the case what I'm going to share with you here is with talking about forest conservation effort in Lao PDR. So this is the digital technology that we apply currently, and this is very important for us to keep continue and use it. So this. Yeah, I would like to brief you a background a little bit of the technology that we apply on the operational logging and degradation monitoring system. This is we start develop this tool since 2008 onward. And now we have several different partners that we join together to develop this tool. So one is ADB. We are the one who implement the activity together with the government for the project Biodiversity Conservation Corridor. And another project we have KFW. They are the one who working in the north of Laos. We call Integrated Conservation Biodiversity and Forest. Another one, our GIZ, this is our partner. They implement another project for protection and sustainable use of forest ecosystem and biodiversity. So the objective of our operational logging degradation monitoring system is this is the flexible system for the timely monitoring and respond to logging and degradation event for the length of forestry. So this is the one that we thought that this is more a powerful tool for the government and with their capacity and their resource. Now that go deeper about the different tools what we use. The first one is we use the Google Earth Engine to run Delta RNBR algorithm. So this is why we use this, because we use the Landsat 8 and Sentinel-2 satellite image in the cloud and then identify for the potential degradation location in our target area. The second tool what we use is ArcGIS or QGIS and Planet Explorer to access the degradation with the GIS and comparing and download rapid eye and PlanetScope imagery to confirm location of degradation and logging happening there. And the third one, we use also the ArcGIS or QGIS to process satellite image. And we also interpret the image and prepare GIS dataset and upload it in the Google Toolbox. And the fourth one is we use Mango Map and Map G2 Map C64. This is the web-based mapping to share data for the collaboration with the provincial team and also district team. And this include for forest land use planning data with another project. As I explained earlier, we have GISat, we have KFW, and also ADB. We will share data together. And then lastly, we use another software, Android tablet, smartphone. This is we provide to our patrolling, community patrolling team. But we have to install the ODK application for their smartphone. And then they can capture information and correct information. And then they can navigate and correct some data in the field. This is the way what we work. When we have deforestation information from those tools what we create and develop with the team in the central level, provincial level, district level. And then we put in the cloud or global toolbox, as we know. And then the provincial team, they use those information and the searching where illegal logging, where deforestation or human activity encroaching the forest, so we can get that. And then that information we send to the district and community patrolling team. They can use those data and they can doing some survey in the real site. So as I mentioned previously, data NBR, what we used it because we used to analyze, to identify the declaration event happening. And after that, when we get this event, and then we conduct tree assessment to filtering and screening the tree having in different sites. And then our team will confirm the declaration event on the tree. That's accurate point in that site, and then we can plan how to respond to those events. And then we have to go to the field. So we go to the field, we don't go alone with our forestry team. We have collaborated with the military team who have office in the field, and then we go together. This is for our team safety. And then after that, we will collect information if we go to the point that there is some illegal logging happening there are some deforestation happening there. So we collect all information and interdict any logging and wildlife. After the post-mission, this is law enforcement. We will collect on the case, and then we can plan how to respond, because some case is really sensitive. So beyond our power, we cannot do. We will submit those cases to the Ministry of Justice, and we also document all the case, and then we review our work. Then we planning for the next operation logging declaration monitoring system for the next cycle, and then we provide some report. This is the example of data in RNBR declaration. We just compare from this picture and picture. This is the information we compare with satellite image, so we can know better the black dot that means the density of the forest. And then we compare with satellite data, and we use infrared to know that. We also know the infrared light or remote sensing. They can penetrate to the canopy, and we know a single tree. Also, we also use 3D view, PlanetScope, and very high resolution imagery with GIS to review the potential field location. And we can track where can be shortcut. We can go that direction or that plot. Yeah, this is what I explained. We have some data in BR, and we compare before forest declaration and after forest declaration. And it's also we use Sentinel map multispectral satellite image with the infrared ray screen, so we can see in each square meter. Before, if we don't use this infrared, so we don't know how big forests are damaged in that area. This is also you can see that the red spot. This is deforestation happening. So the provincial authority, they will be happy if we report to them. They know, oh, hi sir, your forest have been encroaching. So let's do any response planning. And also this is for those smartphones. We provide them the tablet and smartphone. So now community, they can install their ODK in their hand, so they can use and can retrieve information what we provide in the Google Toolbox. This is all of them. They have been trained from time to time. So 1 year they train around 4 times. This is before we not only work in our patrolling team. We work with the central forester, provincial forester, and also district and community. And we join to confirm any problem and planning for the field. Yeah, the field survey, this is what we do. So our team, we join, as I mentioned, we go to the field and see what happened, and we verify declaration event. We have document the location and detail for the further action, hold, seize, cross order, confiscate, register, auction, deregister, release, and we enter to supply chain who getting involved in that illegal logging. This is the survey form. When we have information, we just upload and write any information, attitude, latitude, and some information what we have. Just put here and upload in the crowd. So operational logging declaration monitoring system cycle, we conduct 4 times per year. So we conduct in the early dry season and late dry season. And another one is we conduct in early wet season and late wet season to compare any data. Because in the wet season, everything is evergreen. We don't know where is the deforestation happening. We don't know. So we have to compare both dry and wet season. So this is the result from our implementation. We say that all of staff, they have been trained by Department of Forestry in inspection and another provincial staff. So they have also a visit for the field work. So they are able to implement this methodology and they achieve successful results. And Delta RNBR is able to be an accurate and high useful tool for early detection of forest degradation and logging and wildlife hunting. So operational logging and degradation monitoring system method can be easily and accurate to detect shifting cultivation in the remote area. And any change of any 0.5 hectare or larger than that, so this can be useful. So that's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pitt, to present a forestry management application to us. I want to invite my colleague Matthias. Matthias, please.
I'm doing it from here. As Monica said, we're digital people, we're disruptive, so the rules don't apply to us. And it's also nicer to just have a conversation. Yeah, is my presentation up already? I just need a clicker. Perfect. So it's another livestock project or presentation that we're doing in Tajikistan. I want to highlight the approach that we're taking, that we took to get to that project. Let me see if the clicker works. Yeah. I don't want to spend too much time on that one. It's just to highlight the importance of livestock in Tajikistan, especially for women and landless farmers. Livestock is really a vital tool. It's an asset for asset accumulation and savings that a lot of them don't have access to official financial banks and institutions. So asset is really truly important for rural development and rural people in Tajikistan. Masako already mentioned some of the challenges. For Tajikistan specifically, women face a lot of problems, especially when it comes to accessing veterinarian services. There's some cultural issues with going face-to-face with a male veterinarian. So there are a lot of issues that female are facing in livestock health and animal health care. There's also a lack of general education and knowledge around how to best rear livestock, how to best manage livestock. I already mentioned the access of credit and financial tools is an issue. And as Masako mentioned, climate change is putting a lot of stress on livestock. So now my colleague Navin and I went to the field, and we, rather than starting from the solution, we really looked at the problem. So we talked to farmers, we went from village to village to really understand what the problem is. So the idea was not to deliver a digital solution. We really looked at what the problem is, and then it so happened that a digital solution actually will solve a lot of the issues that we have identified. So I'm just showcasing the digital part. There's a whole other part in the project that I will skip for now. Basically, the idea would be to have a digital platform where farmers can access information, and not just farmers. It's basically a convening platforms for service providers, both public and private. So be it breeders, veterinarians, artificial insemination, also extension. So the public can come to the platform and provide information to the farmers. So that platform will really, farmers will be able to access information services, but also services can be offered on such a platform. What we have seen in Tajikistan also, nobody really knows how much head of livestock is in the country. Some say 6 million, some say 12 million. There's just no information out there. So with using digital tools, with using chipping, be it ear tag or under the skin tagging, we can register livestock, and that can be linked to the platform. So, and the advantage is really also for the farmer, because they can know where that head of animal came from, what kind of vaccination the animal got. So it's kind of a passport for an animal that can be included in such a platform. And you have to see that platform modular. So we won't just, from what you see here, it will not be available all at once. So it will be kind of a modular approach. And again, using system thinking and design thinking to test and try. So we start with offering services to farmers, see what works. Then we might go back to the drawing board, add other services to it. So that's just what we would like to see eventually on that platform, and will kind of like be a pathway towards that. Farmers, and you can see the little card that the farmer is holding. So the farmer can use and access that information in different ways. If they don't have access to a smartphone or internet, we're planning to have kiosks installed. The kiosk might look something like that you see, that could be close to a pharmacy, where farmers can scan their card and access that type of information. If they have a smartphone, if there's internet availability, they can obviously use that, and they can also use their personal computer. We can also use a platform to really reach sort of like the tail end of the farmers, the poorest of the poor, through providing them with trainings. But also women can get teleconsultations. They can call a veterinarian. They can show videos and get services that they would not get otherwise. So that approach that we took was really kind of like client-centric. We really looked what the problem is, because when we talked to the government told us we want data. That's the only thing that they told us. We don't have data, we want data. But obviously, if you start with that approach, an application or the platform will be that at start, basically. So we wanted to create something that is really beneficial to the end user, to the farmer, and the data will come, as sort of like an afterthought, but it will come, because once the farmer sees that there is quality services that the farmer can access, the farmer is willing to provide data. So it will be a win-win situation, but we really put the farmer front and center when designing such a digital platform. What we also saw is that there's a lot of migration of animals from summer to winter, winter to summer pastures. And there's a huge degradation of pastures. So pasture management and livestock tracking is vastly important. With the digital platform, with the animal chipping and tracking, we can also use and know where animal is. We are thinking of having such at choke points, having some kind of gates, some kind of access points where farmer can scan. We know where they are, but then they also again receive services, be it veterinarian services, be it some kind of shelter for animals where they can stay overnight and then continue their migration path. Or they can access other information, such as where the best pastures are. There might be some veterinarian service that we can provide them. So again, it's a win-win for both parties. The government knows where the animals are migrating. They can kind of direct them to the right direction, to the right pastures, because right now it's kind of a free-for-all. But at the same time, farmers are actually benefiting from the services that they can access through the digital tool. Also, what will be important, because right now, if there's any disease outbreak, and it kind of links back to Masako's presentation, it will be interesting to link something like that to an application like that, because in the end, it will be modular. Right now, everything is paper-based. When there's a disease outbreak, the government has to go through their files, provide that information to some veterinarians on the ground. They may or may not be able to target the right farmers in time. So with an application like that, we can have a sort of like a warning push notification installed. We know that there's a disease outbreak. We can give that information to farmers, and they can then seek help either through veterinarians or by medicine and so on. In the end, there's also a little bit of a private sector component to it, especially when it comes to providing these kind of services. So veterinarians don't have to be public. It can also be private veterinarians. So it opens up a little bit more, sort of like the business angle. Also, when it comes to providing medicine, pharmacies can also use that platform to deliver their products to the farmers. So again, what we have seen is that kind of approach seemed to work quite well with being client-centric, looking at first where the problem is, and then developing our digital solution on top of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthias. Thank you for presenting very, I would say, innovative ADB project to be. Now I want to invite Mr. Chana Bali, Director General, Department of Water Resource and Irrigation, please.
Good afternoon to all. I'm glad to be here in Food Security Forum, because irrigation is one of the major input for the food security. So this is one of the important forum for the irrigation sector peoples like me. I want to share the digitization in the irrigation system, which is for year-round irrigation and using the digital and prepaid system, just like our mobile prepaid system like this. This is the Innovation Groundwater Irrigation Management in Nepal. The project is being launched with the help of the ADB in Nepal. And project area lies in the bordering area of Nepal and India. There is no alternative source of irrigation, and poor and marginal peoples are living there. And this is the location of project area lies in the Sarlai and Rohtak district. The project is planned to implement in 2 phases. Out of total 40,000 hectares should irrigate. First phase, we have planned 500 deep tubewell irrigating 22,000 hectares, and this single deep tubewell will irrigate 40 to 60 hectares, and low voltage distribution network system will be used there. And this critical condition for successful project, this is the sustainable groundwater withdrawal. Financial mechanism is already set. Willingness to pay based on profitability, based on the profit from the agriculture output and improve farming practice. In this project, we have a lot of agriculture support program and affordable and reliable energy. Now Nepal has a sufficient energy system, and which will be used for the irrigation system, and government of Nepal has provided subsidy in electricity. And this is the innovation. First time design built operation system is being used in irrigation sector of Nepal, and that will be managed by the irrigation management company, and pump system, variable speed drive pump and buried pipe will be implemented in this project, and prepaid meter system will launch to operate this project. And farmer support program, which I have already explained, is associated with this project. And this is the paradigm shift in the history of the irrigation, DBO contact, company model, and non-conventional irrigation system, and business in commercial basis. This is the paradigm shift in the history of the irrigation system. As a Director General, I am hopeful that this will paradigm shift for other projects also. This is organization structure which concept for how to operate this system. Government Nepal, Ministry of Energy, Water Resource and Irrigation, Department of Water Resource is the higher position, and ADB will provide the loan. Irrigation Management Company will manage all the system, and it have to provide irrigation in the fingertips supply of the irrigation 24 hours, 365 days. Irrigation system will be provided, and private DBO contractor will be selected. It is under the process, and TMDSP consultant will be hired, and farmer will use this water and paid based on the digital system and prepaid system. This is the new innovation in the history of irrigation in Nepal. And there are some challenges. This is first of its kind in management, operation and maintenance management system, and all cost is borne by the conventionally, except electricity, all cost is being borne by the government. In this system, farmers will burn the operating system, management system, which is the new for. But we have a sufficient farmer support program there. We are hopeful that people are willing to pay based on their profitability. And there is some need to have some more education on the operation of the system. This is the challenge for us, and we are hopeful that this will run successfully in Nepal. And this is the pilot scheme. One deep well is now running successfully, which is the pilot scheme for this project. And this is which there is given the buried systems of irrigation supplied buried system here, and we have prepaid card and mobile unit vending machine there. And as per requirement of the farmers, a variable speed pump will operate as required. There is a variable pump will be operate there. And thank you very much. We are hopeful that with the help of the ADB, this digital tilization in the irrigation system will be successfully executed in Nepal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bali, showing the digital application to irrigation. Lastly, I want to invite Mr. Wim. Again, another application to irrigation in India.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm going to speak also about irrigation and about how we can use satellites, in particular thermal satellites, to better manage irrigation systems. So here on the first slide, we see the need to really look at how we use the water. So we can see on the right-hand picture that the need for food production is doubled since 2010. If you go to 2050, so we have to double the production. You can also see the green line. that the green line is really the lower envelope, so we really have to do a lot of work, but at the same time, the per capita water availability is going down. So there is this concept of water productivity. Mr. Vali already mentioned water productivity. And this whole water productivity is about how can we produce more food per cubic meter of water. Very nice. People are talking about it for 25 years. And almost nobody is using or implementing it, because they cannot measure. So the researchers, they need more time on the research. The government is waiting until they can touch on the fingertip on what the values are, and so it's not there. Actually, I'm representing Hydrosat, and we from Hydrosat really now want to make it available as a service. And this is important because we can see here that from a climate perspective, we have water and temperature and radiation as being major constraints for production. And it is very clear that we will get more red areas and we get also more blue areas because temperatures are rising. Crop water use is probably going to increase. So the situation is not very good. So we have to do something about better management. And again, think not only about the crop yield for food security, but please think also about water productivity. And this shows it. This is a diagram from IMI. I have also made myself several of these kind of diagrams. And give it a minute, Here it is all wheat, and you can see that on the vertical, the yield. And some people have 1 ton per hectare, some people have 5 or 6 tons per hectare. Okay? If you go to a Netherlands farmer, you say, I have 10 tons per hectare, they laugh at you, like you're a loser, So there is a huge yield gap. But look at the horizontal line. Look at the line of 3 tons per hectare. Some people, they get it with 200 millimeter of water, and other people need 500 millimeter of water to get to the same yield. That's the concept of water productivity, and that's where we really should start measuring it. So measurements is the key. And I'm convinced that we have to start using thermal satellites. The temperature of the crop tells you how much evapotranspiration is occurring, what is the photosynthesis, and those kind of things have been developed over the last couple of years. Let me throw out another idea here. Everybody's talking about weather stations. You like to have a weather station because that is a station that gives you values of the climatic conditions and the weather on one given point that is representative for a region. Okay? Who is against that? Nobody. So what we also want to launch is the idea of crop stations, but then virtual, from satellites. So let's take 100 hectare blocks or 10 hectare blocks in the main production areas. And then we use the satellites to really measure what is going on. What is the crop type? How much moisture is there? What is your water use? How much irrigation water you need? And if you then make time series, then really you can say, the crop yields are changing so much and it's going this direction and that direction and so on. So that is also a way to really look at how we can better manage the irrigation. Somebody called me Mr. IRRIWatch. So on irriwatch.com, you can find examples how we help farmers day by day. We have 2 million farmers. This morning before breakfast, we have given irrigation advice to 2 million farmers in 62 countries. 100% remote sensing. So we tell them which day of the week to irrigate and how much water to irrigate. What we need is the digital boundaries of those fields. So most cases, our partners, they collect this data, although also automated field delineation is at our fingertips. So there's an example from Mohanpura in India, and you can see here temperatures between 31 to 50 degrees. So that's the spatial variability, which is huge. And I can tell you that the lower the temperature, the better crop growth you have, but also how much more water it is taking. But by quantifying those processes, we can really know, okay, what is the water need? Or, more importantly, do not irrigate today. There is no need. The moisture is already 18%. Wait 4 days. That's the best water saving, to not irrigate. But you have to build trust with the farmers that okay, I trust it, I believe the moisture calculations are good, so let's postpone. That's taking time. So we use many satellites. We do every day, every morning we measure at 10:30 and again at 2 o'clock. And in addition to that, we will launch our own constellation of thermal satellites for crops. So it's the first crop satellite. The NASA satellites and the ESA satellites are built for everything. They should cover urban and forest and coastal areas for all good reasons. But for crops by itself, you have really specific requirements. Hydrosat will now launch a constellation of new satellites. First one will be launched in June. So this is really a very important picture, because we want to have more production, which is the green line going to the right, and at the same time also we would like to have a lower water consumption, and we want to have water savings. So what I mean to say is that we can collect also data, also historic data, because all the data is archived, and every pixel here is one rice field. These are all rice fields, in this case Java, Indonesia, and we can really see what the productions are, but also the amount of water being used. So we can find the heroes. And we can also, by looking at the upper line, the upper black line, we can also see the targets. So the target for the farmer at the 1 or 2 ton, it will be different than the target of the 7 or 8 ton. Why one farmer has 1 or 2 ton? Probably finance, or maybe wrong soil, wrong location, tail end of the irrigation system. You cannot expect, that target level will be super high. So depending on the situation, we will have a certain target. Let me jump for one time to Europe. I'm from the Netherlands, and also here we showed how thermal satellites can help to understand the resilience. Resilience is a word that I hear a lot those days, but how to measure it is more important. For me, it's more important. So on the left-hand picture, you see the transpiration deficit. So that's potential minus the actual transpiration. I'm not talking ET, I'm talking T. Sap flow through the crop. And the blue areas, they have less than 50 millimeter shortage. But the red ones, they have more than 300, 400 millimeter shortage. So we know exactly, and this was a drought, okay? This was one of the most severe droughts in 25 years. So we can see exactly in all the blue areas that they are resilient. The drought did not impact. The drought mainly impacted the red areas. And then on the right-hand side, you see the soils. If you have good eyes, you can see it's all sand. So especially the farmers on sand, they had a problem. Unless you had forests, also the forested areas, they were on sand, but they were also in blue. So really, it was all about managing the groundwater table well, managing your surface drains, and try to have deeper rooting crops, but don't put on sandy soils, because that's a problem. So think about having pasture on sand. That's probably not a very smart combination if you want to be ready for the future. Few more slides. So we jump back to India. This is an example from Karnataka, the famous Tungabhadra. And also, this was a last year picture, so 23. And on the left-hand side, you can see dry matter production of rice. If you multiply it by 0.4, you will get about 8 ton. If you take the The dark blues is about 8 tons per year, 2 crops, two seasons. And actually, the further you go downstream, the less production is occurring. So really, we can measure crop growth and we can also predict yields. But on the right-hand side picture, you see also something interesting. Because irrigation departments, they manage the system by canals. They cannot manage by field. They manage by canal. So here, on the right-hand side, you see every canal. And then also by canal, we can do a benchmarking on the water productivity. You know, which one is good and which one is bad. And if you are in the purple ones, you can see from the legend is only 0.4 to 0.5 kilogram per cubic meter. Somebody has to speak to that gate operator, I think. You know, if you go further downstream, you go into the green. So you go from 0.4 to 0.6, 0.7. So with this, so really, what it means is that with much less water, they can have a certain yield. So let me wrap up with a few remarks. Water and heat are becoming an increasing problem, but we have to start measuring it. My point is, I heard somebody saying, measure, measure, measure. Okay, so that is what I really would like to contribute. I really would like to do measurements. I would like to do that with thermal measurements because they have a lot of additional values in relation to multispectral data, to drone data. I'm not saying that is not interesting, but thermal is not so easy. Take a lot of physics, but I think it's also very valuable. So we can then look at agro ecosystems. Are they resilient? And also, are they using the water in a very productive way? And I think in general, I like to have a change of thinking that not only we think in yield and a yield gap, but also in a gap of water productivity. Thank you.
May I invite all speakers to the the stage, please? And then we're going to open the floor for questions from in-person participants as well as any on-site participants. Please. Yeah. Any question or any comments that you want to share? Please feel free. Okay, please. And please introduce yourself when you start. Second.
Hello.
Yeah.
My name is Hari Depota. I'm from Nepal, working on climate change study in Tibet area. So I have a questions to my professor, Bastiansen. You were talking about the crop satellites. So I think you recently introduced that crop satellite. Do you think that crop satellite is more effective to give our information to the farmer? Like when we check the mobile phone, we can see the prediction of weather for next 2 or 3 months. So do you think that information could be reliable to the low farmer managed irrigation system or local government can be easily can see this information and so that they can manage our water in proper way?
Yeah, thank you, Harry. Harry was one of my first students from 1997. With the current satellites, we can already do this. Okay, with the standard satellites, and I mentioned the whole list of satellites that we are using, we can already have 2 times per day thermal measurements, and we can implement this irrigation management and irrigation scheduling procedures. But with extra agri or crop satellites, we can really measure certain parts more accurately. So for instance, a Landsat, that data was also used by your study, has 2 thermal bands. We will have 5 thermal bands, you know, so that we more accurately can then get to the crop temperature. It also will have a daily overpass, and in addition to that, we will also have then the higher resolution NDVIs and other vegetation indices, which right now we have only once in 5 days with the Sentinel-2. So we also will then move to daily imagery. In addition to that, there's also a lot of red edge. Red edge is very interesting, but you have to be very precise on your filtering, you know. So we really had the best engineers from NASA. They left them and went to Hyderabad, so that we have now just the right bands for the red edge, so we can see nutrition, which is a very important thing. Because we talk a lot about irrigation, but if your nutrition is not good, then still you're using water, but your production is at lower side. So.
Thank you very much, Professor. May I ask, lady? Yeah. Next.
Thank you, Chair. I'm from UNCCD, United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. My question is very interesting presentation. You know, you gave us a lot of new idea. How can we make a monitoring of change of soil moisture by thermal? So my question is to the last speaker. You know, we saw your cases in Europe or in some areas relatively humid. My question is, if this kind of a thermal methodology or remote sensing can be also used in dry land, hyper dry area. You know, currently under UNCCD, we are discussing those indicators could indicating degradation or improvement of vegetation or land in globally, but there are quite some countries in hyper dry area. They complain that the current indicator on land cover, land productivity, and soil organic carbon is are not so sensitive to hyper dry area. I saw you presentation that you use thermal satellite to do this monitoring. Is this possible to be used also, or any project you already have?
Well, thank you for the question, and I can confirm that this is technically possible. When we were developing these algorithms, which is called CBAL, Surface Energy Balance Algorithm for Land, you can Google on CBAL. It was actually done in the desert of Egypt. So we were having soil moisture of 2%. You know, so it's really developed under very dry conditions. And in case there are leaves or vegetation, then basically we use the leaves and the leaf temperature to retrieve what is the moisture in the root zone. So this is a completely different way of getting to root zone moisture. And this is something different from the classical radar technologies that actually tries to penetrate into the soil with all kind of difficulties. So yes, this is possible. We can I can show you some of the papers that we have published.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to be your students in 2027, like last one. So we keep contact.
Okay, the very last one then.
Yeah, for the exchange.
Thank you. Next. Yeah, please.
Hello, good afternoon. Leo from ADB. I have 2 questions. First is with the forest loss detection in Laos. I would just like to know, like, what's the sensitivity of the forest loss detection in Laos? Meaning, how much of that detection are considered as false positive, meaning you have detection, but on the ground there's no forest removed, and how much is false negative? It means you have no alerts, but you have detection on the ground. you have forest removal from the ground. And if you see those kinds of scenarios, how do you optimize the model so that it will be better in monitoring forest losses? That's the first one. And then my second question is with Dr. Wim. I'm also one of the users of surface energy balance before, when I was working with the rice systems in Southeast Asia. My question is that you mentioned about surface temperature and vegetation indices, and this mostly relies with multispectral bands from red, near infrared to thermal bands, which is a characteristic of a multispectral sensor. And multispectral is quite challenging when you're working in Asia, where you have a pervasive cloud contamination and cover. You have Landsat, which is available every 16 days. You have Sentinel dataset, which when you combine 1 and 2, at least you can get every 8 days. And then when you want to go daily, you will mostly using MODIS data, which is around 500 meter to 250 meter. So my question is, how do you address those challenges given you have pervasive cloud cover using multispectral data, especially during monsoons, and how you address that to provide this continuous monitoring of water productivity in your case areas? Thank you.
So, okay, thank you for your question. Very interesting. So, from my perspective, I think from the law PTR, how accurate from the data analysis for the forest cover that we monitor in the pilot, I think from my side, I'm not the right person to answer this because I'm the one, the project manager. I hired an international consultant who are very expertise this to help me to analyze this information, I think. Yeah. So maybe you could help the professor?
Yeah, I can only answer the irrigation question. I don't know about the management of the forest in Laos. But there is also 2 daily satellites. So the Sentinel-3 is there, but also VIRS. VIRS is very important. It's a satellite from the NOAA Institute in the US. So we have, at least we have every day 2 measurements. And you're right. Sometimes, you have persistent cloud cover in monsoons. And then even, you may have only a few images per week. One of the reasons we launch our own satellites is we get more chances, that we have a cloud-free image. This is number 1. But number 2, if there is no image available at all, then we run a soil water balance. So for those days there is no data, we still calculate crop ET, we calculate moisture, we have the updates. We use the rainfall from CHIRPS. There was some previous presentations on rainfall from, I think, climatic models, but, CHIRPS is really, a nice product at 5 kilometer resolution that is available for the last 40, 50 years. So these kind of information helps us to give every day an advice. Otherwise, you cannot have a fully operational service. That's a very good point.
Thank you very much. Any other question on site? Otherwise, there are a few. I think chat box is not really questions. I see. Okay, all right. Maybe if you have one more, going to invite, but otherwise, online participants as well. Just one more question, and otherwise, going to close. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, all the speakers. And thank you so much, Masako-san, attending from New Zealand. We want to give a big applause to all the speakers for this great session and sharing your innovations and great ideas work. Thank you so much.